Hello friends, welcome back to a new lecture. Friends, in this lecture, we are looking at capital conservation buffer, which in short is generally referred to as CCB. Now friends, the package of reforms commonly known as Basel III is a comprehensive set of measures which are developed by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, that is BCBS, to address the faults in financial system which was exposed by the great financial crisis of 2008. Now, one of those fault lines was the lack of a system-wide approach to financial sector risk that aims to promote financial stability and mitigate systematic risk. So, to address this shortcoming, Basel III introduced two buffers that apply to all banks. First is the capital conservation buffer, which in short is generally referred to as CCB, and second is counter-cyclical capital buffer, which in short is referred to as CCCB. Now in this lecture, we will look at capital conservation buffer, and in next lecture, we will learn CCCB. So let's start with capital conservation buffer. Now friends, capital conservation buffer is relatively a new concept, and as said earlier, it was introduced under the international Basel III norms. In layman terms, this concept says that during good times, banks must build up a capital buffer that can be drawn down when there is stress. Thus, capital conservation buffer was introduced to ensure that banks have an additional layer of usable capital that can be drawn down when losses are incurred. So why is CCB important? Now friends, in simple terms, this is savings for the future, as this capital can be drawn when bank is incurring losses. Also note, since it is a buffer or extra capital, thus bank's minimum capital, that is capital adequacy ratio, is also not violated. Now let's see what are the current CCB norms. Friends, this buffer was implemented in full as of 2019, but in India it was delayed till 2020 as per RBI norms. And the limit is set at 2.5% of total risk-weighted assets. Also note, CCB must be met with common equity tier 1 capital only, and it is established above the regulatory minimum capital requirements, that is CAR of 9%. So friends, here comes an important point. That is, whenever this buffer falls below 2.5%, automatic constraints on capital distribution, which is generally in form of dividends, share buybacks and discretionary bonus payments, will be imposed so that the buffer can be replenished. But friends, despite this, there is no effect on normal functioning of the banks. They will be able to conduct business as normal when their capital falls below into the conservation range as they experience losses. Therefore, the constraints imposed are related to the distributions only and not related to operations of bank. Now friends, before moving ahead, don't forget to get your CIB Masters pack, which is a pack of 4 books. These first 2 are secret sauce books, which are in fact summarized notes, and these last 2 are question banks of ABM and BFM respectively. You can also get individual books as per your needs. All the links are there in description to this video, so don't miss out on these. Friends, you can also get Retail Banking 1000 series, which contains chapter-wise questions and detailed case studies. Get your copies today itself by clicking the links in the description. Lastly, always get updated editions, since I update all these question banks after every 6 months, that is after exams. Let's move forward with our lecture. Now friends, what happens is the distribution constraints increase as the bank's capital ratio approaches the minimum capital requirements as shown in this table. Friends, this table shows minimum capital conservation ratios a bank must meet at various levels of common equity tier 1 capital ratios. For example, a bank with common equity tier 1 capital ratio of 6.50%, which lies in this range, is required to conserve 80% of its earning in the subsequent financial year. That is, payout will not be more than 20% in terms of dividends, share buybacks and discretionary bonus payments. Friends, hope the concept of CCP is clear to you. Also, you understood how to read this table. Please understand this table, since many questions have been asked in past from this concept only. Friends, hope the concept of CCB is clear to you. You also understood how to read this table. Please understand this table, since many questions have been asked in past from this concept only. Friends, another important concept with respect to CCB is that of solo or consolidated application. So please note that capital conservation buffer is applicable both at the solo level as well as at the consolidated level. That is, restrictions would be imposed on distribution at the level of both the solo bank and the consolidated group as well. Now, in all cases where the bank is the parent of the group, it means that distributions by the bank can be made only in accordance with lower of its common equity tier 1 ratio at solo level or consolidated level. Now friends, long story short will be, if in question you find that a bank's solo CET1 ratio is 5% and bank's consolidated CET1 ratio is 6%, then the capital conservation requirement will be based on lower of the two, that is 5% in this case. Next, let's discuss an example that will make this important concept clear to you. So if a bank's CET1 ratio at solo level is 6.8% and that at consolidated level is 7.4%, then it will be subject to a capital conservation requirement of 60%. Which is consistent with the CET1 range of greater than 6.75% to 7.375% as per this table which we have learned earlier. Now friends, why we choose 60%? Because lower of the two CET1 ratios is 6.8% and we will use conservation requirements based on this only. Let's see another example and just try to answer it yourself. Suppose a bank CET1 ratio at solo level is 6.6%. and that at consolidated level is 6%. So can you answer what will be capital conservation requirements for this bank? Yes friends, it's 100%. Hope you got the reasoning behind this. This bank will be subject to a capital conservation requirement of 100%, which is consistent with CET1 range of greater than 5.5% to 6.125% as per this table on minimum capital conservation standards for individual banks. So friends, this is all the theory that is required to solve the case studies pertaining to CCB. Now friends, before moving ahead, please note case studies plays very important role in clearing CIB. Most often candidates who are stuck in this paper often fails to crack the case studies in examination. So if you haven't enrolled into my extensive BFM case studies course, then enroll it today itself, as this course may be the difference between your passing and failing in BFM paper. The format of each lecture is that I will first make you grasp the theoretical concept of case study and then we will solve a detailed case study. Just for example, if the case study covers gap analysis, then first we will cover the theoretical aspect of gap analysis and then we will solve the detailed case study with respect to gap analysis. So friends, even if you haven't finished your textbooks, even then you can easily grasp the concept. All the links to join my BFM case studies class is there in description to this video, so do join it today itself. Now let's solve a case study that will make the concepts absolutely clear to you. And the case study goes like this. The common equity tier 1 capital ratios and earnings for three banks, that is A, B and C, are given below. So based on given data, answer next 5 questions. And the first question is, the amount of earnings to be conserved by Bank B in subsequent year is, and the options given are these. Now friends, this is the minimum capital conservation standard table for the banking sector. So to solve this question, you first need to see the CET1 percentage for Bank B, which is 7.50%. Now just look at the capital conservation buffer table and see the corresponding retained earning percentage for CET1 percentage of 7.50%. So as per this table, a bank with a common equity tier 1 capital ratio in the range of 7.375% to 8.0% is required to conserve 40% of its earning in the subsequent financial year. So for this question, 40% of 4572 equals 1828 crores. Thus Bank B needs to retain 1828 crores out of its net earnings. So the correct answer for this question is option A. Next question is, how much payout can Bank A afford in terms of dividend, share buybacks and discretionary bonus payments in subsequent years? And the options given are these. Friends, as per minimum capital conservation table, Bank A with a common equity tier 1 capital ratio of 6.225% falls in the range of 6.125% to 6.75%. and is required to conserve 80% of its earning in subsequent financial year. Now this alternately means that bank can't afford payout more than 20% in terms of dividends, share buybacks and discretionary bonus payments. So 20% of 5673 equals 1134 crores. Thus Bank A can distribute 1134 crores in form of dividends, share buybacks and discretionary bonus payments. So the correct option for the given question is option A. Next question is, which bank has the maximum amount to pay as dividends? And the options given are these. Friends, this question is similar to previous question, but here we need to find payout amount for each of the three banks. So for Bank A, it can afford a payout of 20% of 5673, that is 1134 crores. Hope you are getting how we get this 20%. The reasoning is same as that of previous question. Similarly for Bank B, maximum payout for this will be 60% of 4572 equals 2743.2 crores. And lastly for Bank C, maximum payout amount will be 100% of 9805 equals 9805 crores. So friends, as you can see, out of all the three banks, Bank C has maximum amount that can be distributed in form of dividends to its shareholders. So friends, the correct answer for the given question is option C. Next question is, if the CET1 ratios given in the question are that of solo level and consolidated CET1 ratio for Bank B is 7.0%, then what are the retained earnings of the bank as per latest CCB norms? And the options given are these. Now friends, please recall that we learned earlier in the lecture that if in question we are given both solo and consolidated CET1 ratios, then calculation is done based on lower CET1 ratio. So for this question, as you can see, solo level CET1 ratio for Bank B equals 7.50% and consolidated level CET1 ratio for Bank B is 7.0%. Now lower of the two is 7.0%. Thus CCB that can be applicable will be according to 7.0%, which is 60%. So retained earning for Bank B will be 60% of 4572, that is 2743.20 crores. So the correct option for the given question is option D. Now friends, finally we have reached the last question of our case study, and the question goes like this. If total RWAs for Bank C stands at 1,52,200 crores, then capital conservation buffer limit that is to be maintained by bank is, and the options given are these. Friends, as we have learned earlier that bank needs to maintain a CCB of 2.5% of total RWAs. Thus, for Bank C, CCB that is required to be maintained is simply 2.5% of 1,52,200, that is 3805 crores. So the correct option for the given question is option D. Friends, with this I wind up this lecture. Hope this important concept of CCB is clear to you. Along with that, you have also understood the important case study. So thank you, and I will see you again in next lecture.